Okay, so specifically with this 19-in-1 board, it is exactly the same as the 60-in-1 board for its settings and the menu and the way it works. So I'm going to just show you how they both work through the one, I guess, basically. You're going to be focusing on this dip switch set here. Okay, so when you put it on to the on position, it allows you to go into service mode. Different positions do different things for different ones here. They're generic ones like menu flip, or screen flip. It's going to give you high scores or turned on, that type of thing, and then this service mode. So we're turn it on to service mode because when I plug it in, it'll go directly into the service mode. To get out of service mode, after you save everything, you unplug your machine or turn it off. Then you're going to want to turn the switch back to on, and then you'll boot it up and it'll go through its games and do all that fun stuff for you, and you'll go from there. So I'm going to show you how to connect or set up your games so that it'll work for like free play and stuff, because we got rid of our coin button to keep this nice and slim, and how to turn games on and off that will or will not work on here, and we'll go from there. All right, so booted it up. All right, so now we're in service mode. You know you're in this. It says S2 next, so that just means that it's the second button. So our controls for these are going to be mainly our 3 buttons on here. Actually, button number 1 doesn't really do anything. So you go S2, takes you into the main kind of menu for dip switch setup for generic setup on all these games themselves. Now, I've played with this a few times, so what you're going to want to do is you come in here and you go, like, you want your game music on, yes. You want your demo, yes on, yes or no. So that sound demo and demo music, what that's going to do is play the demo music while you're in the game before you actually start playing. And it'll also play that in the main menu, and it just kind of loops over and over again. It can be kind of annoying, but some people like it, some people don't. And then we've got our free play. I'm setting it to yes. You can turn it to no. All right. And then upright, let's go back. Upright control, so I can have 1 player, so I have it set to 1 player control. All right, so it's going to change the way the gameplay works. If you want to change it to your 2-player upright controls, you just move it over to the on, hit OK for number 1, and then it'll change it to that. And then you can have it set however you want. So we're going to go back to the player 1. I want to save it, so you press start. It'll say setup OK. Now it's saved all those things. Now, Defender, Stargate, a couple other games that are on this board utilize 5 or 6 buttons. I would have to drill in extra holes. I haven't decided I want to do that yet. I just want to leave it on a couple of quick, easy games and just call it a day. Defender and Stargate play very odd, especially when you're playing with the way the buttons work on here. It's kind of harder to play, and there's kind of a very specific way you want to set up that thing, so I don't want to go there with this one specifically. So you can go into here and you can see where it says on. So all these games are on. You can turn them off. Okay. Joust is good for 1 player, that's fine. Robotron needs 2 joysticks to play, so it doesn't make sense to show it, so I'm going to turn it off. And then you can go through all the other games that are on here that allow you to kind of do that same thing. There's not really much else in here that I'm going to be too worried about. So then I just hit start OK. It's going to set up OK, save it, and then we just move on through our list. So the games that you have here showing, obviously I turned Defender off, Stargate off, but Bubbles in here, I can go in here, and now you can change your extra life and go from like 3 to 5. You can go 7, you can do whatever you want. You make it harder, different difficulty settings. You can speed it up. So like on a 60-in-1 with Pac-Man, you can make it into like Super Pac or Fast Pac, so that you can kind of go super fast on it and play it that way. That's where all the settings are in here, like that. To go through all the games, this one's not too bad. The 60-in-1 takes a little longer to open through. You're going to get into sound. That's where I'd said before, when you set your sound on the board itself, I have it set to max. This here is set to 4650. This is going to be your menu sound. We can turn this down to anything you want, and that's going to sit at that volume control across the board for all the games. Like I did before, press start to save that, and then you're good to go. Next is your I/O test. So the I/O test is just your power test for all your connections. So when I press up, then it'll light up. When I go down, it'll light up, down, left, right. And then if you hit it again, it'll go away. So it's doing its thing. Then you go start. So it gives me my start, my S1. I know S2 is working because I'm using it through the menu. I know S1's there because I'm using it through the menu. S3 is back. So player 3 is back. Now I've got that. So then now I've also got my test buttons in the back here. So I'm going to test them out. Right, so I get S4, S5, S6, and I just got my S4 and S5. Yeah, the 19-in-1 doesn't like the 6 buttons, but anyway, we're good to go. So basically, in the end, that's our setup. That's the way the menu works in here. To save anything, you just press the start button, do all that stuff. As soon as you do that and it says setup okay, it has been saved and it will save into the board forever. Even if you unplug it and do whatever, all this stuff will stay that way. This board saves high scores. It does it the same way, and you should be good to go. So to go back and play your game itself, you drop your dip switch on the actual physical board, on that blue dip switch, number 4, turn it to on, or sorry, turn it to off, and then unplug your machine, plug it back in, and it'll go into the games list. So I'm going to do that right now. So unplug, and then you'll get a very different screen, and it'll start counting through your games. So it'll go 1 game, 2 game, 3 game. It'll count all the games that it needs to on here. I did hide a few games, so it might get rid of that list. So it might do not 19, it might only do like 15. I have a pretty strong feeling it'll check for the game anyway and make sure that it's all good to go. So we will slowly wait for the machine to load up. Almost there. So close. Yeah, see, it only did the 15 because I got rid of a couple. All right, so that's our menu. So that's as loud as it's going to be. You can turn that down by going back in and doing whatever. We can just go and choose any game that you want by going through. And then you just press start, and then you're good to go. So it gives you a credit. You're in, we're playing. Happy days. All right, so there you go. You're playing, you're on your way. Everybody's good to go. It's just as simple as that. So now the only downside to these ones is the only way out of the game is to die. So you gotta just keep dying, keep dying, keep dying. Then the credit's spent, and then it'll get you back into the thing. To continue from where you were at, you have to keep just plugging in and pressing start. So I'm just gonna kill myself off so I can get out. I don't like the sound, it's a little bit too loud. I can play with it on the board physically, so I can do that now. So that's something that's more manageable. So instead of having it to full blast in the back. So those are the 2 different ways to play with sound. If you're in there, you're setting it the sound to its 50%, and then it'll never go louder than that. It's already too loud, as you can tell. But yeah, all in all, we're good to go. That up. Okay, so after this will be whatever, it'll show a little demo, and then it'll go back to the main menu. All right, so if you have any questions, concerns, anything like that, feel free to let us know, and we'll get back to you and we'll tell you how it all works.